Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit of CynicalBrit.com and the YouTube channel Total Halibut, and we're here to have a look at Turbotape Game's latest title. It's Naval War Arctic Circle, and I'm here with Jan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic, and you're going to walk us through this from a very basic perspective. If you were talking to someone who had absolutely no idea what this was all about, how would you explain this game? What's it all about?
Well, Naval War Arctic Circle is an RTS. It's a real-time strategy game. It's placed in a modern era, in our time, in the North Atlantic. And the game includes all the major and minor powers in the North Atlantic region. Obviously, you have United States and Russia, United Kingdom, Canada, Scandinavian countries, Germany, and several others. You play using the naval, aerial, and submarine forces of these countries. We do simulate the units that actually exist in this world. We have the units that you can read about in a newspaper or on the web pages for special interest, and we do simulate these to quite some detail.
Okay.
What was important once we had the simulator up going was making a very good game on top of it, making it very accessible, because potentially such a game could be very complex.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was actually concerned when I first heard about it, because I do have a bit of an interest from a casual level in kind of naval warfare games, because there aren't a huge number of them out there. Then I thought, ooh, what if it's a bit too grand strategy? What if it's got too big a learning curve? What did you do in order to make the game accessible to people?
Our original inspiration is, in some ways, the kind of game that you describe as a bit scary. The original Harpoon,
Grand
which
stuff.
a lot of people will remember fondly or scared.
Indeed.
But our other inspiration and aid was more modern RTS games like StarCraft or the Command & Conquer franchise. And what we want to do is like take that modern user interface, the modern interaction, and use it for our game. So when you want to attack, for example, it's maybe easier that I show you than that I tell you.
Let's have a look at
it. If we just have a look here, I just made a very simple scenario around Iceland.
Yep, NATO and Russia fighting over Iceland.
Yes, that's the remake of a classic Cold War scenario. I'm just going to quickly pause the game, where we can have a bit of a look at what's going on. We're starting off. We have here a very small surface task force, where we have a U.S. Ollie Burke destroyer. And we have a Norwegian Fridtjof Nansen frigate. Okay,
and you've got these fully rendered within the game.
That we have. This, what you're seeing on the screen now, is simply a placeholder for what we are going to put in. Right now, it just renders the units on clear water. This is where the action will go, the explosions, firing missiles, and so on. The map is the main area of play, where you issue your orders and you see what's going on. If you see on this information panel, we choose the Ollie Burke, and you can see it has the weapon systems. And these are the weapon system that is the standard loadout of these destroyers.
And these are accurate?
These are accurate, yes, of course. And we simulate these capabilities of these weapons as well as one reasonably can in this kind of game. Also, in addition to weapons, we have sensors. And the sentry plane is a good example with this huge and very powerful radar. I can issue it orders to move, even though we paused here. I can go to the sensors panel, and you find it's one radar. I can choose to turn it on, even though it carries the risk of being counter-detected by the enemy. But let's just assume for this scenario, I know the Russians are way up here, so with their aircraft, so I'm not too worried about that. One of the some of the most powerful units in the game are going to be the submarines. They are very hard to detect, and they have extremely powerful weapon, especially if they get close by. This is the Virginia class submarine, which has its standard bow-mounted sonar.
Yep.
It also has a towed array sonar, which can be deployed.
Okay.
So it carries a certain penalty. It can't go as fast. It can't turn around while it has it deployed, and so on.
Okay.
But I choose to deploy this, and it would take 6 minutes of game time.
Okay.
A very important aspect of playing will be aircraft and how you operate them. Here on Keflavik, Iceland, I've placed just 8 aircraft. We have 4 Poseidon maritime patrol crafts, and we had a lot of money, so we have 4 F-22 fighters. So I can simply, I double-click here, and I right-click on the map. I can take another more. Let's say I just want to send these out.
Yeah, so the user interface is nice and simple in that regard. It's just a couple of clicks to do what you want, and since you've got this nice, clear sort of wireframe-style map to see exactly what's going on, you don't get particularly confused with where things are.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do, and I've worked very hard to do that. If we now decide to just get a game started, I set the time compression to 10 times, so things move a bit smoothly. These are huge areas. I can just say I want this F-22 I just launched to go a bit faster. The F-22 has a special ability to supercruise. That means supersonic speed without using the afterburners.
Okay.
When afterburners, it goes even faster, but it burns up all its fuel almost immediately.
Yeah.
So since I made this, I obviously know there are enemies around.
Yeah.
And I suddenly detected something. It's a helicopter. That's all we know. We don't know if it's the enemy or whatever. And now we're starting to pick up surface contacts. Obviously, the sonar is deployed, but we don't know. It's a medium surface unknown. Let's just say that we are certain that this is not some civilian vessels. These aren't fishing boats. So we just say treat detections as hostile in the menu, and see that turn red.
Are there actually civilian vessels in some scenarios in this game?
Yes, that's what it's going to be. So when it comes to attack, if you're familiar with an RTS, you will be familiar with this. I just chose my F-22. I just right-click on this helicopter, which I know is a real threat. Now I actually has it identified as probably the ugliest helicopter ever.
It is fairly ugly, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's still a very potent threat to my submarine if it should choose to drop its sonar buoys and look for it. That was a simple attack. If I again choose my submarine here, I can go to the more complex options. That's the extra depth of the game when you start to get familiar with it.
Okay.
And you can choose the battle planner, and there you see the ranges. And now we're getting more information about the enemy. You can see we are actually inside the range of our torpedoes, which are the most devastating weapon if we can get close enough to attack. So now I can choose here. This menu is not finished. We're not totally happy with it. But as you can see, you can have a minimal attack, save on the ammo, normal, and overkill, which is like use what you have.
Yeah.
Some other options here. And in the meantime, you saw F-22 did its job. So, but here I'm just going to launch the torpedoes simply by right-clicking on it in a normal way. Now I launched 2. Okay. I'm overdoing it a little bit, but that's all right. We're not going to need the torpedoes for later today, so that's all right. So
now ammo conservation can be a big factor in a lot of different scenarios.
It can, because surface ships and submarines can't conceivably rearm during a simple scenario. F-22 is having a hurry down here. I guess that's my fault since I sent it down there. I just tell it to calm down a little bit.
Yep.
I can do the same with this. So see, obviously it takes a bit of a time. These torpedoes will move at 60 kilometers an hour. Which gives them an ETA of 35 minutes of real game time, but we move 10 times as fast here. So that explains a bit about how you play the game, where you can do the simple RTS convention gets you started.
Yeah.
But there is hidden depth a lot of places in the game. You have different loadouts for aircraft, obviously.
Yeah.
When you choose one loadout, for example, you want to attack an airport, well, it takes a bit of time, and it will be unavailable to attack anything else.
Okay.
So it's really interesting. You have the classic rock, paper, scissors, which plays out in real life, where
Yeah, of course.
helicopters are a threat to submarines, which are a threat to surface ships, etc., etc.
Okay. Yeah.
We really want to keep working on making it simpler to play, as well as we are adding the details for user interface and, of course, the eye candy, the explosions. Everybody wants to see explosions.
Yeah, but I like the fact that it's nice and simple and functional on the battle map, and it's interesting that you should pick that because, as you're probably well aware, having studied more modern RTS like, say, StarCraft 2, when played professionally, for instance, is almost always played on low detail all the time, simply because their concern is not sparkly effect, is to have a very clear view of what's going on so that they can actually make their decisions. I like the fact that you have the option for both on the same screen, though. You do get that nicer eye candy at the bottom, and you can go full screen if you so desire, which is good. But, what kind of content can we expect in this game? Do you know how long the campaign is going to be? Is there going to be any multiplayer content, for instance?
We are planning 2 campaigns, one from various Western countries and one for Russia.
Okay.
We don't have good guys or bad guys here. This is just an excuse to have a war game. And we are also definitely going to have multiplayer, head-to-head play. That's going to be extremely exciting with all these options. And we also have various forms of deception involved. So it's going to be really fun to play it competitively. The scenarios, we're planning roughly 12 scenarios per campaign, roughly.
Okay.
And we're going to throw in some extra for fun as well, some standalone skirmishes.
Okay. Are you planning on any kind of scenario editor for fans to create their own?
That is very important for us. We are going to make whatever tool we have available for making scenarios. Honestly, right now, we write it in manually.
Of course,
in the database. Will be available to the public. Everything is open. It's stored in XML files. You can add units or change capabilities of units. You can even script the AI. That should be possible.
Okay.
So we want it to be really open, and people can make their own entire campaigns if they want to, in addition to fiddling with single units. Yeah. So we're really looking forward to after we launch what the community comes up with.
This is really the kind of game where the community is going to drive it, I think, because since you've got this amount of accuracy in the game, you're going to be attracting the enthusiasts, but of course you're also going to be trying to attract a more casual audience simply by making it accessible. And as we've seen, the user interface is clear, it's clean, it works. There isn't really too much to concern yourself with in that regard. It's not scary. It looks scary initially. When you first see it, you think, oh, this looks like it's very war game-ish, and it perhaps lacks some degree of accessibility, but that's not really the case. And that's what kind of struck me the most, I think, while watching you actually play that, which is good. But I think, of course, the amount of community-made content for a game like this could be absolutely staggering. And so we've seen what's come out of, say, other Paradox-published games like Mountain Blade, so hopefully this game by Turbotape will also have similar support. So Jan, thank you very much for showing off Naval War, Arctic Circle.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, my name has been TotalBiscuit. That was a look at Naval War Arctic Circle coming from Turbotape Games. Keep an eye on, of course, Gamersgate and anything related to Paradox for more information. And I will see you next time.